Today, we are with the author, Robert Delamontagne. He is the author of A Message for My Grandchildren 16 Things I Want You to Know. Robert, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you for being here. So, what are the 16 things? I guess we have to read the book to find this out, but why did you write it?
Okay. Well, I was sitting at my desk one day and I thought to myself, I have these beautiful grandchildren. I love them so much. What can I do for them? What could I possibly do? And one of the things I thought about is to try to identify the things that would be most helpful to their life and prevent them from making mistakes based on the fact that they didn't know these 16 things. And so what I did was I sat down, and for some reason, the 16 things just came pouring out. I didn't have to struggle to identify them. They were just there. And so I wrote small vignettes. It's a short book, 90 pages or something. But each lesson has like 3 or 4 pages of description of what it is and why it's important. And so it was really something that I could gift them, but something also other grandparents could use for their own grandchildren if they so chose. So that's why I wrote the book.
What this one brain dead. This will get edited. What have you come up with new things since you've written 16 things? Like, have you thought after the fact, like, oh, I wish that was 19 things or 24 things? Have you come up with more things?
Not really. The 16 things are so unbelievably basic to life that they would be 1,000 years from now, they would still be valid, I think. Like certain things I would say, for example, while you're in school, and if you see people in your class that aren't particularly popular, they have thick glasses, they're overweight, they're a little goofy, and they're socially ostracized, make a friend with them. Be friends. And never, ever discount them as being irrelevant or unimportant. I said, because what's going to happen to you if you do that? You're going to look back in your life at some point and say, thank God I did that. That's one of them.
Nice, nice. So, who do you think are good purchasers of your book?
I think grandparents who would like to gift their grandchildren wisdom, because it's fundamentally just basic things in life that could be characterized as wisdom. For example, one of the things I talk about is travel, and I tell them that to encourage travel, because what it does is it refines you, it expands your perspective. My grandchildren were born in London, they lived in Hong Kong, and they're almost impossible to impress. and I just want them to realize that travel doesn't have to be overseas. It could be to the next city. You could go to New York City or Pittsburgh or whatever. But traveling and exposing yourself to different places, different cultures, and different people has an effect on you psychologically over time.
That is so very true. That's the one thing that I always wanted my daughter to be aware of. And we did travel. We traveled across the US. We traveled to England and stuff like that. I wanted her to have that experience and to be aware that there's so much more than just what we know here in the US.
Right.
And so broadening your children's minds and educating them, I'm sure, to the things that are in this book are so very important. So, as always, Robert, when people put down this book, what is the one thing that you hope they get from it?
I hope they get the fact that there is 16 things that are extremely important that potentially could help their grandchildren.
I would imagine that this is something that will sit on a bookshelf after it's been read by their grandchildren, and will be passed on. Like, oh, my grandfather gave me this. Let me pass this on to you, or
Right.
even to friends and stuff that have children, and say, hey, let me share this
Yeah.
with you.
They can also like open the book and put a personal inscription in there to their each grandchild that they give the book to, so that it personalizes it. So it's not just from me, it's just that 16 uh, things, acts of guidance, but from them.
Right. I'm sure that will mean a lot to a lot of grandchildren out there, that their grandparents thought enough to say, let me help you along with this. So,
Right.
Robert, thank you so much for telling us about a message for my grandchildren. I wish you all the very best success with it.
Thank you, Marianne.
Thank you.